Lokacharya has mercifully given SrIvachanabhushana Divya Shastram. We have started enjoying the meanings for this beautiful Rahasya Grantham. We have seen the meanings for up to the first four sutrams. The first four sutrams are considered as the introduction section, where Lokacharya establishes the authentic literature which is being used by him to establish the principles which he is going to present in the Grantham. So he is going to highlight a lot of principles. Where are those principles from? What is the source of those principles? Explained in the first four sutrams. We have seen those first four sutrams, where first it was explained that Vedartham, the meaning of Vedam, is determined with the help of ithihAsam, Smriti and Puranams, and subsequently it was explained that the Vedam is divided into two parts, Purva Bhagam and Uttara Bhagam, and the Purva Bhagam is explained is determined, the meaning of Purva Bhagam, which is Karma Kandam, which explains about the rituals, the worship aspect of Bhagavan, is determined by Smriti, that is Dharma Shastram, Manusmriti, and so on. Of those are considered as Dharma Shastram generally. And the Uttara Bhagam, that is Brahma Kandam, the meaning of Brahma Kandam is determined with the help of ithihAsams and Puranams. And in the subsequent sutrams, Lokacharya also established that ithihAsam is having greater importance among ithihAsams and Puranams. So that is one view. And it can be also said that ithihAsam has got prominence among all three of the aforementioned literatures, Smriti, ithihAsam, Puranam. Of all three, it can be said that ithihAsam is more authentic or more powerful. And it can also be said that in ithihAsam and Puranams, ithihAsam is more authentic, more powerful. And because of it having prominence, the ithihAsams having prominence in many shlokams and many poems, many sentences in various Puranams and ithihAsams, highlighted that ithihAsam, the word ithihAsam, while talking about ithihAsam and Puranam, ithihAsam is said in the beginning. Usually when two words are explained together, either the word which has less syllables should come in front, or the word which has more powerful impact, the word which implies more powerful or more important aspect, that should come first. It's obvious that Purana has less syllables than ithihAsa. Yet, in the shlokams we saw itiha Puranam Panchamam, ithihAsa Puranabhyam. So, in all these shlokams, ithihAsa is said first in the beginning, before Purana. That is because ithihAsa has got more prominence. So, that is how far we have seen in the first four sutrams. Now we have to move on to the next set of sutrams. That said the Tanyans, Sri Shaileshadaya Patram, Deepatyadi Gunandavam, Yatindra Pravanam Mande, Ramya Munim, Ramya Yogindra Padare Kamayanda, Tadayatat Natadim, Ramanujamunim Bhaje, Lokacharya Gurave, Krishna Padasya Sunave, Samsara Bogi, Sandashta Jiva Jivatave Namaha. Lokagurum Gurubis Sahapurvaihi Kurakulotama Dasamudaram Sri Nagabatya Birami Varesho Deepashayana Guruncha Bhajeham. In these shlokams, we salute the Acharyas who have greatly favored us by helping us in the Rahasya Granthams, in propagation of the Rahasya Granthams. We have seen the meanings for Tanyans already in great detail. Now let us start seeing the fifth sutram. Fifth and sixth sutram are expected to be enjoyed today. Let us see how it goes. So now, fifth sutram. From this fifth sutram, Purushakara Vaibhavam is explained. We've already seen that the Srivachana Bhushana Divya Shastram is divided into either 6 parts or 9 parts. There are different viewpoints in that. Both are acceptable. Both are presented by our acharyas. In either way, in either approach, first prakaranam, the first is Purushakara Vaibhavam. We have to remember the Taniyan Purushakara Vaibhavancha sadhanasya gam tadadhikari krityam asya sadgurupasevanam haridayama haitukim gurorupayadanchayo nabhushane avadad jagadgurum tamashraye. I worship that Jagadguru Lokacharya who explained many of these principles in Sri Vachana Bhushan Divya Shastram. What are those principles? Purushakara Vaibhavam, the greatness of Purushakara, that is Sri Mahalakshmi Tayar, who acts as the recommending authority, who facilitates our reaching Bhagavan. So that is the first aspect which is explained. And then sadhanasya gauravam. What is the means for us? What is the process? Bhagavan is the means. The greatness of such Bhagavan, that is explained in the second section. Third section is Tadadhikari Krityam. Adhikari is the one who performs Sharanagati, one who performs surrender. And what is his qualities? What are his qualities? What is the conduct he should have? Those aspects are discussed in third section, Tadadhikari Krityam. Asya Sadguru Upasevanam. The person who is surrendering to Bhagavan, he goes through an acharya, a guru. That Sadguru. That is, Sadguru means a true guru, one who is coming in the proper tradition of understanding Shastram, Vedantam through a Acharya Parampara, one who has studied under eminent scholars, one who is following the principles of Purvacharyas. That is a person who is known as Sadguru, Sadacharya, true Arya. And then, so that fourth aspect is performing service to a Sadacharya, performing service to a real gurus, real acharya who shows us the path to liberation. So that is the fourth section, fourth prakaranam. Fifth prakaranam is Haridayam Haitukim. This mercy of Bhagavan is unconditional. There is no specific reason that done, no other action which we have done is triggering this grace from Bhagavan. It is his unconditional grace. He is giving his mercy without any reason. Just the only reason is the relationship between Jivatma and Paramatma. All the Jivatmas are subservient to Paramatma. The Jivatmas are children to Paramatma. He is showing his grace towards all his children. That is fifth item. And then fifth aspect which is being explained in this Grantham. And then sixth aspect is Guru Rupaya Tanchayo. That Guru, that real Sadguru, we saw, Sadacharya, that Acharya is the both means and end. That is the final section, which is final aspect, which is in this particular Grantham. So now this is the sixth part view. This is the view which holds that there are 6 parts in this Grantham. In this first part is Purushakara Vaibhavam, that is being explained in this fifth Sutram. Before we go to Sutram, there is a brief introduction given to the Sutram by Manaval Mamnigal. We are enjoying the meanings of this wonderful Grantham, Sri Vachana Bhushana Divya Shastram, with Manaval Mamnigal's beautiful commentary. Manaval Mamnigal, who is glorified Vishadavakshikamani, he has given wonderful commentaries for Mumukshupadi, Tattvatrayam, Sri Vachana Bhushana Divya Shastram, and then Acharya Hridayam. These 4 Granthams are considered as most important for Sri Vaishnavas. So with the help of this commentary given by Manaval Mamnigal, we are enjoying the meanings for this particular Grantham. So in each of the Sutrams commentary, first Mamnigal gives an introduction to that Sutram. What is the purpose of the Sutram? What is the context of the Sutram? Why Pillai has written this particular Sutram? So that is given by Mamnigal in every Sutram. In this fifth Sutram, before starting the fifth Sutram, Mamnigal also gives an introduction and a summary of the, first he gives a summary of aspects we have seen, gives an introduction what is coming, for what is coming ahead of us. So let us do the introduction given by Mamnigal. He nicely summarizes what we have seen so far, and then he gives what is coming ahead. First, Mamnigal is this introduction that Pillalokacharya, starting with the first sutram, explained what is the Vedam, what is Vedam's meanings, and what are all the literature which speaks about the meanings of Vedam. That is the first aspect which was discussed. And then the different sections, the two parts of Vedam was highlighted. It was not directly highlighted by Pillalokacharya, but he indirectly highlighted in the second sutram by classifying that the meaning of Vedam and Vedantam can be understood through Smriti, ithihAsa, and Puranam. And in the subsequent section, he directly names that Purva Bhagam's meaning can be understood from Smriti, Uttara Bhagam's meaning can be understood from ithihAsam, Puranam. In the second sutram itself, he directly explains that by Smriti, with the help of Smriti, we can understand the meaning of Bhagam. And in the same sutram, he explains with the ithihAsams and Puranams, we can understand the Uttara Bhagam's meanings, that is Brahmakandam's meaning. So he explains, Pillalokacharya explains the classification of the segregation of Veda to Vedam and Vedantam, Purva Bhagam and Uttara Bhagam. That is explained, and then he also explains how we can understand the meanings of both Purva Bhagam and Uttara Bhagam. That is Smriti and ithihAsams and Puranams. And in the third sutram, he explains that ithihAsams are more popular, more authentic, more powerful. So that is explained in the subsequent section. So even though all of these are explained, these are all context for what is coming ahead, what is going to be explained subsequently. Now, because Pillalokacharya is composing this beautiful grantham for the upliftment of all the Jivatmas, the whole purpose of Pillalokacharya composing these Rahasya Granthams is to facilitate the liberation of Jivatma and attaining the natural state of eternal service to Bhagavan. That is the main objective of Pillalokacharya. Now, this particular meaning cannot be understood directly from Purva Bhagam. Purva Bhagam is focused on explaining the rituals and the method of worship of Bhagavan. So that particular aspect does not directly give the means to attain liberation directly. But it is very clearly available in the Uttara Bhagam, that is in Jnanakandam, that is Brahmakandam. So that is the Vedantam, which clearly explains these aspects. So whatever the karma which we have to perform, whatever worship we have to do towards Bhagavan, as per the Shastram, even for them, they will come to a stage where they seek liberation. For them, the place to find all the information about Bhagavan Brahman is the Brahmakandam, which speaks about Bhagavan's Swarupa and Jivatma's Swarupa, Jivatma's Upayam to reach Bhagavan, Jivatma's Purushartham, that is the goal to be attained. All of these are explained in Brahmakandam. So because the Brahmakandam is the one which explains all of this, now Pillalokacharya is setting out to highlight what are all the important principles which we have to understand from Brahmakandam. So from that particular aspect, there are so many various Upanishads, there are so many aspects in Brahmakandam. Now we have to get all the essence from all of that. So that is what Pillai is doing. He is extracting the essence of Brahmakandam. What are all the principles which we need to understand in Brahmakandam? That he is extracting and he is presenting it so that all the Jivatmas can understand them with absolute clarity. So that is the objective of Pillai in composing this beautiful Rahasya Grantham. That is explained by Manavada Mamunigal in this particular introduction section for the fifth sutram, because from the fifth sutram we are going into the actual content of the Grantham, because up to four sutrams, the first four sutrams explained the introduction, gave the introduction. From the fifth sutra we are going to see the actual content of the Grantham. So first Mamunigal gives an introduction here, saying that we have seen all of these. We have seen about Purva Bhagam, Uttara Bhagam, Karma Kandam, Jnana Kandam. Now, Kandam does not directly explain about liberation. It is Brahma Kandam which explains about Jivatma, Paramatma, Upaya, Purushartham, and all of that. And hence, Brahma Kandam is the real focus of Jivatma. And hence, to understand the principles, the essence of Brahmakandam, Pillai sets out to go step into all of those aspects. So that is what he is mercifully doing here. Now, before going into the meanings of Brahmakandam, first Pillai explains, we have seen that ithihAsams, that is SrIrAmAyaNam and mahAbhAratham, these two are known as the ithihAsams, the great epics. These are important, most important for us to understand the principles. That is what we saw in the beginning. So, with that particular aspect in mind, the scope and the essence of both epics, that is SrIrAmAyaNam and mahAbhAratham, they are revealed in this particular sutram, in the fifth sutram. Let us see the fifth sutram. ithihAsramana SrIrAmAyaNaththAl siRaiyirundhavaL ERRam sollugiRadhu. mahAbhArathaththAl thUdhu ERRam sollugiRadhu. So this is the sutram. The simple meaning for the sutram is ithihAsa SrEshtamAna SrIrAmAyaNam. Among the two ithihAsams, SrIrAmAyaNam and mahAbhAratham, they are called as ithihAsams, they are epics. Among those two, which one is more popular, which is best among these two? Obviously, SrIrAmAyaNam is best. That is why Pillai is saying ithihAsa SrEshtamAna, the one which is best among the ithihAsams, that is SrIrAmAyaNam. In SrIrAmAyaNam, siRaiyirundhavaL ERRam sollugiRadhu. SrIrAyirundhavaL, the greatness of Sri Mahalakshmi, Sita Pirati, who went to, who was imprisoned by Ravana. So the greatness of Sita Devi, who was imprisoned by Ravana, is explained in this ithihAsa SrEshtamAna SrIrAmAyaNam. So the whole objective of SrIrAmAyaNam is to reveal the greatness of Sri Sita Devi. That is first part. Second is mahAbhArathaththAl thUdhu ERRam sollugiRadhu. thUdhu means Duthu. Duthu is the Sanskrit word. And for that Tamil word is thUdhu. So Mahabharatam, with Mahabharatam, in Mahabharatam, the greatness of Bhagavan, who went as the messenger for Pandavas to Duryodhana and others, his brothers. So his greatness is highlighted in Mahabharatam. So the main purpose, main essence of these two epics, they are highlighted in a simple sentence by Pillai. That is the commentary now. Now, why is SrIrAmAyaNam highlighted as greater among these two? Why is SrIrAmAyaNam hailed as greatest among these two? That is explained by Mamunigal in his wonderful commentary. he is quoting many pramanams, many shlokams, and he is explaining the principles from all of these pramanams. First is Valmikaye Maharshaye Madasha Nam Tataha Brahmana Samanugnata Sopyupa Vishadasane. So in this shlokam, it is said that Brahma himself gave a seat to Valmiki, and he gave the order to Valmiki to write this Sri Ramayana. He gave the order to Sri Valmiki Rishi to bring out the greatness of Sri Rama, and Sri Rama. He also blessed Valmiki that whatever happened in Sri Rama's life, all of that will be known to Valmiki. So nothing is not known to him. Everything is known to Valmiki Rishi. Whatever happened in Sri Rama's life, everything is known to Valmiki Rishi by the grace of Brahma. So that is first explained. So based on this particular shlokam, the grandfather of all the world, that is Pitamaha. Brahma is known as Pitamaha. This Pitamaha, who himself ordained Sri Valmiki Bhagavan to write these particular shlokams, the Sri Ramayana shlokams, and because of Brahma's grace, the Sri Ramayanam came out from Valmiki Rishi. Because of that, and there are many other shlokams. Nate Vak Antarta Kavye Kachit Atra Bhavishyati. So Brahma, this is what before also. In this particular Sri Ramayanam, whatever you write will always remain truth. This Punya Katha of Sri Rama, you will be writing in a very beautiful, very sweet manner. So let you write it in a sweet manner, says Brahma in this particular shlokam. There are several such shlokams which are highlighted, and we also know the popular shlokam Vedavedye Prepumsi Ramam Dasaratatmache. In this shlokam, it is explained that just as Bhagavan incarnated as Sri Rama, Vedam itself incarnated as Sri Ramayanam. Because of all of these reasons, this particular Sri Ramayanam is considered as the greatest among the epics, says Mamnigal. There is also a quote from Naduvil Tiruvidi Pillai in his Tattvatraya Prabandham. Naduvil Tiruvidi Bhattar has written a Tattvatrayam Grantham, and in that Grantham also he explained the greatness of Sri Rama. Quotes Mamnigal. Oftentimes Mamnigal will quote Purvacharya's words and establish these principles. So he is quoting Naduvil Tiruvidi Pillai Bhattar's word here, saying that Sri Ramayana is greatest among all the epics. Well-known epics are Sri Ramayana and mahAbhAratham, but there are other upakavyams, that is ancillary or small epics, which are also present. The most famous ones are Sri Ramayana and mahAbhAratham. Among these two also, Sri Ramayana is great. That is why ithihAsa SrEshtamAna SrIrAmAyaNam. So that is explained. Next section is SrIrAyirundhavaL ERRam sollugiRadhu. Now question here by Mamnigal. Why is Pillai Lokacharya saying SrIrAyirundhavaL, that is one who prison, instead of saying Sita Devi or Sri Mahalakshmi? So he could have said, with the help with this Sri Ramayanam, Sita Devi's greatness explained, because there is another shlokam which is quoted here. It's actually quoted here in the commentary also. Kavyam Ramayana Ramayanam Kritsnam Sitam Charitam Mahat. There is already a shlokam which says this whole kavyam, this epic of Sri Ramayanam, this great epic of Sri Ramayanam is bringing out the greatness of Sita Devi. So there is already a shlokam. So Pillai could have also said Sita Devi's greatness. She could have said that. But he didn't say. He said SrIrAyirundhavaL ERRam, that is greatness of one who went to prison. So that is said. This particular usage is done by because he wanted to highlight the great compassion of Sita, of Pirati, Sri Mahalakshmi. She is Deva Deva Divya Mahishi, divine consort, the crown queen of Bhagavan Sriman Narayana, who is the Lord of all Devas. Now, being such great personality, instead of seeing her greatness and instead of ignoring the inferior nature of being jailed or being prisoned, being encaged, to relieve the Deva Stris, that is the um, women of Swargalokam, they were all arrested, they were all prisoned by Ravana. To relieve them from their sufferings, Pirati herself went into Ravana's Ashokavanam as a prisoner. It is not that Ravana took her as prisoner. It was Pirati, Sita Devi's voluntary act. Pillai is going to beautifully, Mamnigal is going to beautifully explain in this Vyakhyanam subsequently about this particular aspect. We will see it there. But the greatness of Pirati is that she went into prison out of her own compassion, not by force of Ravana, out of her own compassion towards all the women of Devalokam or Swargalokam, to bring them back, to release them, to free them from the um, sufferings. She went there. And Mamunigal gives a beautiful example. When a child falls into a well or a lake or a river, the mother will not call help of someone else. She will immediately jump into the well or river and try to help her child. Similarly, Sita Devi, Sri Mahalakshmi being Jagannatha, being the mother of all the Jivatmas are considered as children of Sita Devi. Because of that compassion, she herself went into the prison, and then, because why should she go to prison? Only then Bhagavan take that as a reason, have that as a reason, wage a war against Ravana and come and free both Sita Devi as well as all the other Devastris. So this great compassion of Sita Devi must be shown to all. That is why here Pillai Lokacharya used the word siRaiyirundhavaL. So her greatness is highlighted. Now, this principle is also explained beautifully by Mal. Just like, for example, when we take birth, it happens due to our karma. But when Bhagavan takes birth, it happens due to his Ichha. It is the same birth. But when Bhagavan takes birth, when he incarnates, it is out of his desire. Because of that, he gains radiance. He gains more shine. But when we take birth, we are suffering in this samsara because we have taken birth due to our karma only. So, the same aspect of birth is having different impact on Jivatma and Paramatma. Similarly, this being imprisoned is an act which is generally considered as lowly, it's considered as suffering. But when Pirati does it, it can be understood that it is out of her greatness, it is out of her compassion, she is doing it. So that is the greatness which is highlighted here. Now, the same thing. We saw this when Bhagavan takes birth, he acquires more shine, he acquires more radiance. So similarly, when Pirati takes herself into the prison of Ravana, it increases her greatness. It brings more glory to her, and that is explained here. Now, Mamnigal beautifully explains here. If someone thinks that Sita Devi was forcefully taken by Ravana into Lanka and into the prison, then Mamdal says that such people who think like that, they have not understood the potency and power of Sita Devi. They are very inferior, very lowly people to think like that. Who will think like that? Only lowly people will think that Pirati cannot defend herself, Sita Devi, because she is Jaganmata. She can do anything within a second. Out of her will, she will be able to do it. But she did not do anything to protect her or defend her. Rather, she chose to go to Ravana's place out of her own will, out of her own compassion. So only lowly people, only very less intelligent people will think that Pirati was forced by Ravana and was forcefully taken by Ravana to Lanka. It was just a play for her. Because Sita Devi, Pirati knows that Ravana is also her child. It is only Ravana who had misunderstandings, misgivings that he is going to try and enjoy Sita Devi. It was his evil thoughts. But Sita Devi always considers Ravana also has as her own child. So it is like a play for her. It is like she is playing with her child. And Mamanigal gives a good reason also from the SrIrAmAyaNam Charitram itself. When Hanuman's tail was set on fire, it was Pirati who said, Shito Bhava, let it become cool for Hanuman. Let him not be affected by the heat. And because of that, Hanuman became very cool, and his this fire did not affect him at all. Rather, he burnt down many palaces in Ravana's Lanka, and he fled away. Similarly, the Sita Devi who said, Shito Bhava, let it be cool for Hanuman, she could have easily said, Nashto Bhava, let Ravana die. If she had willed that, it would have happened, but she did not will for it. That is why she did not want that to happen at that time. That is why it is said that it is out of her own voluntary interest she went into Ravana's place. So because Pirati is doing this for protection of others, for helping others, she is greatly glorified, and this particular greatness is highlighted by Pillalokacharya by saying SrIrAmAyaNam ERRam, this greatness of SrIrAmAyaNam, the one who went into prison. So this is why Parashara Bhattar also, so we saw Valmiki Bhagavan's words where he said Kavyam Ramayanam Kritsnam, the whole of Ramayana Kavyam is speaking about Sitayam Charitam Mahate, the greatness of Sita's life. That is what is the Sri Ramayanam says Sri Valmiki Bhagavan. Similarly, Parashara Bhattar also said in Gunaratna Gosham that Srimad Ramayanam api Param Praniti Swachcharit, whole of Sri Ramayanam is speaking about your greatness only, says Parashara Bhattar. So we have seen the first part, ithihAsa SrIrAmAyaNaththAl, siRaiyirundhavaL ஏற்றம் சொல்லுகிறது. The meaning for that is explained by Mamanigal here. Now the second part, Mahabharata. What is the focus of Mahabharatam? What is Pratipadya Artham of Mahabharatam? Pratipadya means what is revealed, what is the meaning which is present in Mahabharatam. That is being explained by Mamanigal here. So in Mahabharatam, Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Vidhi Narayanam Prabhum Kohyanyo Puvi Maitreya Mahabharata Krudbhavet. So this shlokam is explained in Vishnu Puranam. All of these, there's a number of shlokams which are highlighted here. Evam vidam bharatantu proktam yena mahatmana soyam narayana sakshat vyasarupi muni mahamuni. Bhagavan Narayana himself appeared as Vyasadeva and he spoke about this Mahabharatam. So Krishna Dvaipayana is the name of Vyasa Bhagavan in this Chaturyugam. Krishna Dvaipayana means one who took birth in an island. Dvaipayana, Dvipa means island. One who was born in an island is Dvaipayana. He is dark in color complexion, so he is Krishna Dvaipayana. That is the actual person. Now Vyasa is a seat. Vyasa is a position. Vyasa position can be occupied by any different personality as ordained by Bhagavan. In this Chaturya, it is Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. So this Vyasa is an incarnation of Bhagavan himself. It is an Avesha Avataram of Bhagavan. We have seen about this in previous sessions also. So this Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa is none other than Bhagavan Narayana, is an incarnation of Narayana. Maitreya, so this is Parashara telling Maitreya, his this Vyasa is the one who did the Mahabharata. Who else can do such Mahabharata? So that is the, who else can write this Mahabharata? That is the first shlokam. There are so many other pramanams, and then in Vedam itself, Vyasa's greatness is highlighted. Sahovacha Vyasaha Parasharyaha. This is Parashara's son is Vyasa. That Vyasa Rishi, that Vyasa, the great Maharshi, he spoke. So this is in Vedam itself where Vyasa's greatness is highlighted. So from this we can see that this Mahabharatam and the author of Mahabharatam, Veda Vyasa, is also having so much greatness. It is also said that Mahabharatam is considered to be Panchama Veda, the fifth Veda. There are four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharvana. Then Mahabharata was given by Vyasa, and it is glorified as Panchama Veda. It is fifth Veda. This is also Naduvil Tiruvithipillai Bhattar also highlighted in one of his granthams that just as SrIrAmAyaNam is very greatly celebrated as an authentic source of knowledge, this Mahabharata is also celebrated as authentic. So also Parashara Bhattar's quote from Vishnu Sahasranama Bhashyam introduction section is highlighted here. SrIrAmAyaNaththAl mahAbhAratham Sharanam. So he said in this particular pramanam that this both the SrIrAmAyaNam and Mahabharatam both are means for higher goals for Jivatmas. So from all of these we can understand that Mahabharatam is also having equal greatness. So first section is mahAbhArathaththAle thUdhu pOnavan ERRam sollugiRadhu. So the next section, thUdhu pOnavan means one who went as a messenger, on behalf of Pandavas to Kauravas, to Duryodhana and his brothers. So that is similar to how Pillai Lokacharya used the word siRaiyirundhavaL instead of Sita Devi. Here also Pillai Lokacharya is using the word thUdhu pOnavan instead of Krishna. He could have just said Krishna's greatness, Krishna in ERRam sollugiRadhu. He could have said that, but he didn't say. He said thUdhu pOnavan. Again, the intent of Pillai Lokacharya is to deliver the message that Krishna is Ashrita Paratantriya. He is very much subservient towards his devotees. He presents himself as a very humble personality before his devotees. So to highlight that particular important quality, Pillai Lokacharya is using the word thUdhu pOnavan. This is why we have to see how Mamunigal is dissecting every word of these sutrams, and he is bringing out the purpose of every word in Pillai Lokacharya's sutrams. This is why our acharyas often say all of our acharyas words, whether it is a Sri Bhashyam of Bhagavad Ramanuja, Gita Bhashyam of Sri Ramanuja, or ED Vyakyanam or Periyavachan Pillai's Vyakyanam, or these Rahasya Granthams of Pillai Lokacharya, the Granthams, commentaries of Mamunigal, all of these, every word carries so much greatness. Each word has to be celebrated and enjoyed. So here, the purpose of using thUdhu pOnavan is highlighted. Instead of saying Krishna, Pillai Lokacharya is specifically saying thUdhu pOnavan because he is trying to highlight the importance of Bhagavan's attitude towards his devotees. He is showing so much love and affection towards his devotees that he is presenting himself to be subordinate to them. So he went as a messenger on behalf of Pandavas. The job of a messenger is considered as very lowly generally. The messenger is, even though the messenger is very greatly respected by the one who is receiving the messenger. For example, if I send a messenger to somebody else, the person receiving the messenger must give great honors to that messenger. He should treat the messenger as if he would treat me. Yet, the job of going as a messenger is still considered as a dog's job. It is said in Shastram that the job of a messenger is a dog's job. It is a very lowly job because it is like even I can tie a message on a particular paper or those palm leaves. You can tie a palm leaf and send a dog to the destination. So that particular task was taken up by Bhagavan because of his compassion and love towards his, that is Pandavas. So that particular greatness is highlighted here. He has Pranat Paratantriya Ruchi. So he has this taste for being subservient to his devotees. So even you can see when he was young in Ayarpadi, that is in Gokulam, he very much enjoyed being commanded by the Gopikas and the Gopas, the cowherd boys and girls. When they would command, Krishna would greatly relish that because he has the taste. So that is highlighted here. Now, by saying this particular word, thUdhu, Pillai is highlighting all the qualities, starting with Vatsalyam, Swamitvam, Saushilyam, Saulabhyam. These four qualities we have seen in Mumukshupadi itself. They are known as Ashrayana, Saukarya, Apadaka, Gunangal. They are the qualities which motivate a Jivatma to go and surrender to Bhagavan. Only by seeing Bhagavan's Vatsalyam, Swamitvam, Saushilyam and Saulabhyam, a Jivatma becomes motivated to go to Bhagavan, thinking that, feeling confident that Bhagavan will accept. So, all of these qualities are being highlighted by this word thUdhu. This, because of this particular quality of Bhagavan, seeing this quality of Bhagavan and becoming engrossed in this particular quality, Thirumangai Alvar said, Innar Thudanan Endran, Evul Kidandane. And then there is another pasuram, Kudainar Idanadanda Thudha. So Thirumangai Alvar is greatly relishing the aspect of Krishna going as a messenger, and he is celebrating those that particular aspect in these pasurams. In Periya Tirumudi pasurams, we have seen these pasurams. Innar Thudanan Endran. Innar Thudanan Endran means one who stood as the messenger of this person, that person. So we will say, who is this person? Then we will say, this is the messenger of Yudhishthira. This is the messenger of Arjuna. He stood to be identified in that particular manner. Kudaimanna Ridainananda Thudha. That is also messenger who walked in front of the great emperors. That is Duryodhana, emperor at that time. So he went to see him. So because of this particular divine words of Thirumangai Alvar, Pillai Lokacharya is using the word thUdhu. I actually missed one particular thing, one particular pramanam in siRaiyirundhavaL. I missed that while going through the commentary. Just like here, it is shown that Mamunigal is showing that Lokacharya is using the word thUdhu because Thirumangai Alvar used the words Innar Thudanan Endran or Kudaimanna Ridainananda Thudha. So because Thirumangai Alvar used this particular word, Pillai Lokacharya is using the same word here to highlight Krishna. Similarly, explaining SrIrAmAyaNam about Sita Pirati, Sita Devi, Mamunigal again quoted Nammalvar's Pasuram. I missed that actually. Anichirayil Vilaputra Kilimoliyal. So this particular Pasuram is in Tiruvaimozhi, where Nammalvar is using the word Anichirayil in a separate secluded prison. Vilaputra Kilimoliyal, one who suffered, and because of she became great. She was celebrated because of that. Kilimoliyal. Kilimoliyal means one who is who speaks very sweetly like a parrot. That is Sita Pirati. So because Alvar used this particular word, Tanichirayil Vilaputra, now Pillai Lokacharya is using the word SrIrAmAyaNam ERRam. So always our acharyas follow the words of Alvars and previous acharyas. So why Thirumangai Alvar, coming back to this particular section, Thirumangai Alvar is also using the same principle. He is saying, because of the usage by Thirumangai thUdhu pOnavan, Thudhanane Nindran, Pillokacharya is using the word thUdhu pOnavan here. So this is highlighted here. Now, this is very similar. There is a similar explanation given by Mamnigal, just as how Sita Devi going into prison voluntarily out of her compassion, that is celebrated. Unlike going to a prison in general, it is very considered as very lowly. Pirati choosing on her own to go to prison is greatly celebrated because it is out of her own will. Similarly, Bhagavan going as a messenger, that is also greatly celebrated because he went on his own, out of his own will. Another quote is shown here, Saushreyan Bhavati Jayamaha. This is from Vedam, where it is said Bhagavan's greatness increases as he takes births again and again, because all of his births are out of his own will and out of compassion towards Jivatmas. To uplift the Jivatmas, Bhagavan is taking incarnations. Because of that, whatever explained in Shruti, because of that particular pramanam, we can understand all of these actions which are voluntarily done by Bhagavan, they are all going to add radiance to him, add shine to him. This is why the is again explained by Mamnigal here. Only those who are very less intelligent, very lowly people will think that, oh, Bhagavan is going as a messenger. What a shame for him. Only lowly people will think like that. But those who are intelligent, they will become immersed in Bhagavan's Saushilyam and Saulabhyam and these qualities. That ithihAsam said by Nammalvar said ithihAsam means how is it happening? How is this happening? How can Bhagavan be controlled? This great Brahman, how can he be controlled by a cowherd girl, Yashoda? Yashoda is tying Bhagavan in a mortar and Krishna is standing there helpless, crying. He is weeping and Yashoda is shouting at him, don't cry, just stop crying. And then Krishna is unable to even now control the crying. He is trying to control the crying, but he is unable to do that. Out of that, he becomes more, he sobs more and he is weeping more. So looking at this, Alvar becomes amazed. How can this happen? The great Supreme Brahman, who is the Lord of all of this Nitya Vibhuti, Leela Vibhuti and all of that, he is being controlled by a cowherd girl here. So this is how the intelligent people will look at it. The great scholars, great devotees, when they see Bhagavan's acts like this, where he is minimizing his own greatness and doing things for his devotees, they will become more amazed and they will develop more attachment towards Bhagavan. So, based on that, this mahAbhAratham is speaking about the greatness of Bhagavan, greatness of Krishna who went as a messenger. That is the table here. Now, because Mahabharata is speaking about, because the intent of Mahabharata is to bring out the greatness of Bhagavan, Sriman when Vyasa started speaking about, Vyasa Rishi started speaking about Mahabharatam, he said in the beginning, in the Adim itself, Narayana Kathamimam. I am going to speak about the greatness of Sriman Narayana. So that is explained by Mamnigal here. By this sutram, the purpose and the main goal of both the Prabandham here, SrIrAmAyaNam and mahAbhAratham. Oftentimes we see in countries, especially Mamnigal is using this word quite often. Mamnigal uses the word Prabandham for many things, like even, for example, Srivachana bhUshaNam, he will say in this Prabandham. Prabandham is not just Divya Prabandham. Divya Prabandham is a general term for Alvar's Pasurams. But still, Prabandham is a word which binds Bhagavan. That is the real meaning. And also it can be said that Prabandham is something which binds devotees towards Bhagavan. So here again he uses this word Prabandham. That's why I quoted it. Prabandham, these two epics, ithihAsams, the main goal of these two epics are thus explained by Pillai says Mahanigal at the end of this commentary. So in this sutram, in the first sutram of this Purushakara Vaibhavam section, fifth sutram, it is explained that by SrIrAmAyaNam, the greatness of one who remained in prison, that is Sita Devi, that is explained. And in mahAbhAratham, the one who went as a messenger, his greatness is explained. And we have seen that with many pramanams and many detailed explanation given by Mahanigal. Unexpectedly, the explanation went a little bit over time. So we won't be able to see the sixth sutram today. For the sixth sutram in the next session. ஆழ்வார் திருவடிகளே சரணம், எம்பெருமானார் திருவடிகளே சரணம், பிள்ளை லோகாச்சாரிய திருவடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். We'll recite and complete the session. பல்லாண்டு பல்லாண்டு பல்லாயிரத்தாண்டு பல கோடி நூறாயிரம் பல்லாண்டு திண்டோள் மணிவண்ணா உன் சேவடி செவிதிருநோடும் திருவின்றி ஆயிரம் பல்லாண்டு வடிவாயினின் வளமார்வனில் வாழ்கின்ற மங்கையும் பல்லாண்டு வடிவார் சோதி வளத்துறையில் சுடராழியம் பல்லாண்டு படப்போர் மணங்கும் அப்பாஞ்சு சன்னியமும் பல்லாண்டு. Today in the evening 8:30 we will have Upadesha Ratinamalai English explanation session as part of our Punarpusam Satsangam. Whoever possible please join. 8:30 மணிக்கு இன்னைக்கு நம்மாலை இங்கிலீஷ்ல அதோடைய அர்த்தங்கள் பார்த்துட்டு வரோம். புனர்பூச சத்சங்கம்னு மாசம் புனர்பூசத்துக்கு அடுத்து வரக்கூடிய சண்டேல நடக்கிறது. யாருக்கு முடியுறதோ 8:30 மணிக்கு ஜாயின் பண்ணிக்கலாம். அடிக்கூடாது. Okay. Yes, please, what is the question? If it is a short question, you can put it in message itself. I will try to answer. Otherwise, you can send it separately through WhatsApp. Okay. Okay. Is that the full question or is there more? Yeah, okay. So there is this concept which is prevalent in North. Not only Gaudiya school, many schools of thought in the North say that there was a Maya Sita who was taken by Ravana. The real Sita was preserved and protected. And then when Sita Devi entered the fire, at that time the real Sita came out. So that is explained by some schools of thought. I mean, we cannot blame them. That is their interpretation. But it is most apt to understand that, as explained by Lokacharya and Mahanigal here, that true compassion of a mother is when the child is suffering, she jumps into the situation of the child. Similarly, Mother Sita, she jumped into the occasion, she went into Lanka and facilitated the release of all the Devastris, the ladies of Swargaloka. So in this particular context, that is why Mahanigal says that only very less intelligent people will think like that, think that Sita can be forced by Ravana, and hence some schools of thought may have come up with this explanation that nobody can force Sita Pirati, so they arranged for an alternate image of Sita Pirati, and that was only carried by Ravana. So that is what I think the reason for why some of these scholars of different sampradayas may have thought like to, in a way that they tried to preserve the greatness of Sita Pirati by saying that Sita Devi could not have been carried by Ravana. Only a shadow or image of hers was taken away by Ravana. But while that explanation may sound logical for some people, it is more logical that as if for example, if a child misbehaves with a mother, if the child he drags the mother by his hand, by her hand, the mother will not send an image of her. Rather, she will accompany the child and she will try to reform the child. That is the nature of a true mother. Caring mother would, even when the child is misbehaving, we hear sometimes that son beats her and like that. So even in those cases, a real compassionate mother will try to reform the son by being with him and educating him. And when the child is in a good mind, she will give some good advice and reform him. So that is the viewpoint our acharyas have taken, that Mother Sita, considering Ravana as her own child, she did not take great offense of what he did, because even she was ready to forgive Kakasura, who again caused great offense by taking on her chest. Even in that case, Mother Sita did not take offense of Kakasura. In fact, she pleaded for his safety from Bhagavan, Sri Rama. So, being a true compassionate mother, it is apt, most apt that she voluntarily went to Ravana's palace and she stayed there and tried to reform Ravana, but out of his great sins and out of the divine plan also, Ravana succumbed in the end because he did not hear um, the good instructions given by either Sita Devi or Vibhishana Alvan, or even Kumbhakarna gives good instructions, Mandodari gives good instructions, good advice. He did not listen to any one of them. So it was his fate that he had to go like that. But as a mother, he went along with Ravana and remained in Lanka in the prison. That is what Alvars also, Tanichirayil Vedaputra Kilimoriyal, that Pasuram Alvar says, she remained in the prison in Lanka. So both Alvars and Acharyas, they are in unison. Pirati went and protected in this particular case. So this Maya Sita concept is not acceptable by for us, because that is not how our Acharyas have explained this. Is that clear enough? Okay. There is another question. Now, again, why Lord Rama? Second, there is another question. The conference. Rama did not show he is avatar of Narayana, whereas Lord Krishna shows right from his baby. See, in Rama Avatara, Bhagavan vows right from the beginning that he is going to remain as a human and he is going to manifest humanly qualities only. With great effort and great will, he develops, he presents himself as a great warrior and he fights as a human being only. He does not fight as a god. That is because he has vowed to remain as a human in this particular incarnation. He wanted to show how humans have to behave, how they have to interact with others, how to respect others, how they have um, follow dharma, how they have to practice dharma even in very difficult situations. All of these are manifested by Bhagavan in Ramavataram. That's why in our Purvacharya's Granthams, in some places, the Acharyas explain that whatever Krishna advises in Bhagavad Gita about being minded, being compassionate, being not being attached to body, many different things which are given instructions by Krishna, he is not talking them without himself showing those aspects, practice them himself. In Sri Ramavatara, he showed all of what he advised in uh, Bhagavad Gita. So we can blame him that you are talking about all these things, but it is easy for you to give advice, but it is difficult to practice. Then Bhagavan will turn around and say, I have practiced all of this in Ramavataram. So to ensure that there is a living example of how to live a full proper life without any blemishes, Bhagavan remained as a human being with great powers, except for very rare situations like sending Jatayu to Moksham and a couple of other uh, situations. Even those can be explained that being a very noble person itself is sufficient for you to enact these great tasks. So, in all perspective, Bhagavan wanted to remain as a human being, and he fully played the particular role and behaved like a human being and showed a living example how a person should live in this particular world, so that in subsequent incarnation he can come and give these advices. And also, he also thought, it is said that after Ramavataram, Bhagavan himself decided that if he remains as a human being and uses powers, then even he will be taken for granted. So he, in Krishnavatara, he occasionally showed his supremacy and his might, so that people do understand that he is God. Hope that is clear for you. Okay, no further questions. Then we will recite Landa and conversation. பல்லாண்டு பல்லாண்டு பல்லாயிரத்தாண்டு பல கோடி நூறாயிரம் மல்லாண்டு திண்டோள் மணிவண்ணா உன் செவிடி செவிதில் காப்படியோ மூடும் நோடும் பிரிவென்று ஆயிரம் பல்லாண்டு வடிவாயின் வளமாதலின் வாழ்கின்ற மங்கையும் பல்லாண்டு வடிவால் சோதி வளத்துறையும் சுடராழியும் பல்லாண்டு படைப்போர் புக்கு முழங்கும் அப்பாஞ்சி சன்னியமும் பல்லாண்டே. Yes, yes, exactly. Krishna always never felt shy to show his supremacy. Yeah. Okay, Adiyan Ramandas.